Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'm going to be talking about Persona 5 Royal, a JRPG with life simulation elements. Of course, this means there are some like dating stuff as well as friendship stuff, and as an otome content creator, anything that's got dating and romance in it is like totally my jam, and this is one of my favorite games, so of course I had to talk about it. And so this is going to be kind of like a review slash vlog type video, and hopefully you enjoy it. But anyway, let me start. So before, I continue on with this, let me just note that in this video, I will be kind of including what you'd find on the website. The one thing I'd say to note is that I will be kind of talking about the different characters. Some of them appear later down in the game as opposed to at the beginning. So if you're the type of person that likes just discovering the characters as you go along and you don't want to know what they look like or anything about them, then I would probably swiftly move on. But other than that, I'm not including anything that's a spoiler. So yeah, feel relaxed. But as I said, if you don't want to know anything about the characters, then swiftly move on. But anyway, so first up, what is Persona? And if you already know what Persona 5 is, then of course there are the chapters below, skip to the next part. But if you don't know, Persona 5 is, and I've got the little, description here because I'm terrible at remembering these things and I don't have a script. So, but Persona 5 is a role-playing video game that takes place in modern-day Tokyo, and it follows a high school student known by the pseudonym Joker, who's transfers to a new school after being falsely accused of assault and put on probation. So Joker is the pseudonym that I will explain to you in a little moment, so don't worry too much about that. But yeah, so at the beginning you do kind of see him being kind of falsely accused, and you watch this like cinematic and you're like feeling a little bit annoyed. And but anyway, over the course of a school year, he and other students awaken to a special power, becoming a group of secret vigilantes known as the Phantom Thieves of Hearts. So really cool, right? They explore the metaverse, a supernatural realm born from humanity's subconscious desires to steal malevolent intent from the hearts of adults. As with previous games in the series, the party battles enemies known as shadows using physical manifestations of their psyche known as their personas. The game incorporates role-playing and dungeon crawling elements alongside social simulation scenarios, and it is the social simulation scenarios that I like. So basically what happens is you got this main character, he moves to Tokyo, and he's definitely misunderstood due to these accusations that were made. He meets a bunch of other kind of students, other characters that are sort of in a similar place to him in that they feel somewhat misunderstood or feel like they're not socially accepted. They're like excluded in some way or another. And as you meet all these different characters, you gain their trust or whatever, and you can start hanging out with them, which is when you get these things called social links, which they help you in a battle as well. But basically what happens is as you spend more and more time with that character, your relationship gets stronger and stronger, and the stronger that relationship, the more effect it has on your persona, which is, this they say the manifestations of their psyche, essentially. And I always wonder what my persona would be like if they were real. But personas are like kind of these, I don't know how to put it. They're kind of what looks like a warrior of yourself almost, that you can summon to attack other things with, particularly shadows. And they're supposed to kind of represent who you are as a person. So I always wonder what mine would be like. I'm sure there are many of you out there who feel the same way. But I think what's so fun about this is that, so Persona 5 is set in Tokyo, and although you do have this dungeon crawling element, where you explore these what's called palaces, which is the, where is it? Basically, there's a supernatural realm, and there are some adults that, due to sort of subconscious desires and obsessions, ends up creating this like palace thing in this alternate universe, and these characters, including Joker, or the main character, are able to enter this world via an app, and kind of what they have to do to get rid of that palace, because it affects the real world as well. They had to go in, discover where the treasure or the heart of that palace is, and then steal it. And so there tends to be one palace per month that you have to deal with, and so there is like this 1 month almost time limit, which isn't too bad. You can change the settings, you know, so that they're easy or medium or hard or whatever. If you want to just enjoy the story, I'd suggest going with easy, but that may make the gameplay a little bit boring, which is why I normally put it on medium. But yeah, if you want to just purely enjoy the story and you don't want to have to worry at all about the palaces, then I would, set it on easy. But basically you've got a month, and note that you don't want to just dungeon crawl. You want to utilize your time in the life sim parts as well, because as I said, there are these social links. So as you live life, so you can go to like different parts of Tokyo, wander around, talk to people, you can like do things like go to an onsen, you can go and drink stuff, and you know, there are different things you can do which not only increase the things like magical powers or physical powers or whatever that affects your persona, but also your kind of life sim attributes. You'd have things like how smart you are, how charismatic you are, that sort of thing, which then in turn allows you to pick certain dialogue options, for example, when you're talking to a character, and things like that. But there are different type of activities you can do through the day or in the evening, and there are these different social links. As I know I keep on talking about social links, but they're essentially things that allow you to have relationships with people, whether it be a friendship or whether it be something more. And the more you get to know these characters, the higher that social link ranks up too. Like I think the max, I can't remember what the max level was, but it levels up every time you get a little bit close to them. And every time you get close to that character, you learn more about them, like their backstory or their personality. And it's really interesting because they'll be going through certain troubles that you may help. You'll have to reach a certain level for, let's say, your charisma or intelligence or whatever in order to get to know that person. Like kindness is another one. So sometimes you've got to increase that. It's really tough in a way, because you've got to obviously keep making sure that your persona and that stuff is strong while helping increasing your kindness and charisma and all that stuff, so that you can improve your sort of yourself in the simulation aspect and talk to people and get to know them and increase your social rank, because social link even, because these are just as important. For example, there's a character, I think there's like a politician or something, can't remember the name, it's been years since I played this game, but there's a politician, and I think if you befriend him and increase your social link rank, it allows you to like buy things for cheaper, or you get more money when you kill shadows, like things like that. So even those real life relationships affect the dungeon crawling elements. And obviously, since you've got a month to find that treasure in the palaces, you kind of want to improve those things as well. Now, obviously, my interests lie more in the social simulation and social links than anything else. I love the fact that you can wander around Tokyo and explore these different areas, and they're quite good in replicating that area. Like Shibuya, for example, I'm sure many of you know of that really busy crossing. They replicate that really well. They've replicated Shinjuku really well, where you see all like the nightlife, and the school, as is always the case, they've nailed the Japanese school thing. It almost feels nostalgic, and I just love it so much. But anyway, let me talk about some of the characters. So, of course, you've got the protagonist, Joker. I think I remember just looking up the character name and then naming him that, but you can name him whatever you want. There's this cat called Morgana. I don't actually know why he appears. As I said, it's been so many years, so I can't remember about most of like the backstory or anything like that. But there's a cat called Morgana. Now, some of the love interests include Anne, who is one of the very first to appear. She's a classmate. You've got Makoto, which is another one. I think she's like president of your year group or something, or school. I can't remember. You've got Futaba, which is adorable. I think she's a neighbor down the road. And you've got Haru, who I can't remember if she's in the same school or not, but she's like a rich girl, I think. And Sumire is a character that only appears in Royal. So I have played Persona 5. I have not played Persona 5 Royal, but in Royal, Sumire appears, and you've got a myriad of other characters that you can have relationships with. But let me talk about the female kind of love interests that you can have a relationship, which, by the way, I'm the type that literally tries to get with everyone. And let me just say, if you do that, you may potentially regret it on a certain day. You're gonna have to find out for yourself. I thought that was a nice touch that they did. But if I were to pick an absolute favorite, you know what? Let me do a top 3. So my absolute favorite has got to be Futaba. Oh, there's just something about her. She's so cute. I think most, like, my guy friends have said they don't really find her, like, as, you know, the best because she looks too little sister-like. But as someone who is just kind of basing my top 3 based on just like the way how cute I find them or whatever, Futaba has got to be my like absolute top, because I think I also relate to her because she's like a gamer, she's like a complete nerd, and I'm not as nerdy or smart as Futaba is, but those things I kind of relate. And also the clothes she wears is like the kind of clothes that I used to wear when I was a teenager, so I just relate with her in all ways. And then I'd say my second favorite has got to be Tae Takemi. She is the doctor. She looks like a bit of a dodgy doctor, really, but I just think she's so sexy. Like, I think I'm just like a sucker for like the slight gothic look. I don't know. I like the black dress. I like the little collar necklace. And although normally I don't find like short-haired people as attractive as someone who's got long hair, like that's my preference, she is just so pretty that there's no way she's not going to be in my top 3. And then I'd say my fourth favorite is Hifumi. She is like a professional shogi player, and I don't know, I think she looks really pretty. I really like her. And although her personality I'm not as into as the other two, I think she's just like, clearly I'm just vain and I go for the ones that are pretty because I don't know, she's quite cool too. And that's my top 3. Now talking about the others, so you've got which it's funny because looks wise Anne is like my favorite because she's just, I wish my hair was as voluminous as hers. I think she's a model as well, which makes sense. But I wish my hair was as fluffy as hers because just wow. It's just her personality is a little bit too energetic. That's why she doesn't really fit into my top 3. But it is fun like going on dates with her and stuff. You've got Makoto, who I find it really weird because like for me, she's a bit too goody-goody and a bit too like, you know, how do you put it? Like the type of person that always gets A's in their grades, and like they're such a goody-goody and they're just a really cute, happy, I don't know how to put it. They're too serious. They're too, they follow the rules too much. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from her. And yet I think everyone I've spoken to has liked Makoto the most. Like my guy friends or like people online, they're like, oh, she's so badass and she's so cool. And I'm like, I don't really see it, but okay. No offense if you're probably a Makoto fan as well. So I probably insulted you there maybe. But I can understand that some people may like her, but she just isn't really my cup of tea. Then you've got Haru, who the problem with her is that she appears so late in game that unless you do a new game plus, which by the way, you can do a new game plus where you maintain all your charisma, kindness, courage, all of those in real life stats. So you can make the dialogue choices that highly increase affection and stuff. So when you do New Game Plus, it's a bit easier to get to know these characters, because sometimes you do have to have a set level in those, you know, real life stats in order to even start dating or talking to them, or, you know, that sort of thing. And Haru, because she appears later down the lines, you may not even have the attributes to get to know her, especially if you're noob like me and you're not as good at organizing and playing this game to the, like, you know, the best way possible. If you're like that, then you may not be able to get to know her very well, and that's kind of like the case for me. I didn't really have a chance to get to know her, so for me she's just like some rich daughter that looks really fluffy and cute, like that's. And then Sumine, obviously I don't know anything about, because she appears in Persona 5 Royal, and I guess I haven't really played that game, so I haven't had a chance to really meet her. But apparently in Royal she appears, as in she comes to school at the same time Joker, the main character, does. So yeah. And then you've got Chihaya, who is a fortune teller. I think she's quite cheeky. I thought she was quite interesting as a character, especially when you first meet her. Then you've got Sadayo and Ichiko. I find it like, I guess this is like the MILF characters. Because you've got Sadayo, who is like a teacher. It's a bit risque in my opinion. And then Ichiko is like that older woman who's working. Looks like, why she's not really my type. She's a bit too tomboyish for me. And then you've got Saya Nijima, who is the older sister of the president of school, Makoto Nijima. And oh my gosh, I think she is so pretty and she's such a boss babe. I just like goals, if you know what I mean. So different from the way I am, that I look at her and I'm like, oh my god, respect. But yeah, so those are the female characters. Hopefully I haven't missed any out. Sorry if I have. But those are like the female characters, and the ones that I think some of them you can, I think I've noted the ones that you can date, like just that. Unfortunately, and this is where I'm gonna like sort of cry, it's that there are so many male characters that are cute, and yet you can't date them because the main character is male, and unfortunately he's not gay, so he doesn't really end up with any of the guys. But let me go through my top 3. I'd say hands down my absolute favorite male character has got to be Yusuke Kitagawa. Now, he's a very strange character, and you'll know what I mean if you play this game. He's just really weird, and we call these characters tennen in Japanese, where they're just a bit odd, and he's an artist, and I don't know, he just really, yeah, he says the strangest things. He's so clueless. He's the type that you think might like you, but is just being completely, like, doesn't even realize he's doing things that make him seem like he likes you. He's just really odd, but I love that so much about him. He's such a great character. I'd say then my second favorite is probably Ryuji. And the reason is because he's such a himbo. Like, oh, bless him. He's definitely, like, even his persona, as I said, your persona is supposed to be representative of who you are and, like, how you are truly inside. And Ryuji's, bless him, isn't very good at magic, if I remember correctly, but is good at physical attacks. And I think it's because he's a bit lacking in the brain area. But that's what gives him the charm. He's a really nice guy, and you're just like, oh, bless you. And I love seeing the relationship between him and the main character. It's just so endearing. Oh my god, I love it so much. And yeah, it's really cute. So I've heard that I haven't managed to max up the social link with Yusuke, like going back to my top one. But Yusuke is apparently, like, with his social links, it almost looks like they're on a date. So I think I'll enjoy that when I play this Royal on my Switch. Now, third place goes to Goro Akechi. I mean, have you seen him? He looks adorable. He's like a detective type person, and don't get me wrong, I don't like the fact that he's on the opposite side, if you know what I mean, because he's the one trying to track down Joker, because the police are trying to track down these phantom thieves essentially, and this Akechi guy is out to try and find Joker. But so in that sense it's really like, oh, but have you seen him? He's so cute, so of course he gets third place. Now that's kind of my ranking for me. I'm trying to kind of scroll through. I don't know what else to say, to be honest. Like, I think, yeah, let me just continue on to say the reason why I like this game. I think the reason why I like this game is because it's got so many different aspects kind of piled into one, if that makes sense. So instead of it just being a dungeon crawler or just being a life sim, you've got dungeon crawler meets life sim meets dating. I don't know, it's so exciting. I just love the Persona series. And there's also, I've played Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden. These are going to be, well, Persona 4 Golden's actually already available on PC. But Persona 3 Portable is going to be available on PC, I think, and Xbox in, I think, January or something. And if you like Persona 5, then I would kind of recommend you pick up these two, because, like, although Persona 3 Portable is a little bit old-fashioned, you do get to be a female main character, and that's awesome, especially when you come to dating options. It means you can date the guys, which, why can't Persona 4 Golden be like that, and why can't Persona 5R be like that as well? So it's really sad, but I think, yeah. And also it's really fun because it's the life aspect is never repetitive, because you've also got daytime and nighttime, where the things you like, the activities you can do between those 2 days are different. 2 days, those 2 times are different. You've got like seasonality, so during like pollen seasons, some of the shadows are behaving differently compared to like rainy season, and you see all these like different seasonalities within Tokyo as well. And because the Tokyo is so like, you kind of, it's really realistic. Like, I remember playing this game and feeling nostalgic for some of these locations, because I'm like, oh my god, I remember going there, or, you know, that sort of thing. And you get to run around in it, and it feels like you're really there, and it's so pretty. And okay, I should stop fangirling, but as you can tell, it's one of my favorite games. And if you're even a tiny bit interested, even if it's like this much, I would highly recommend you, no, please buy it so we can talk about it. But yes, so do ask me any questions, whether it be on my server or in the comments below or on Twitter. Like, I'm more than happy to answer them to the best that I can. Hopefully this video kind of conveyed my hype and actually explained to you what the hell this game is about. I feel like it was all just like a complete clutter-brained, God knows what's going on, me just throwing info at you, and who knows, you might be even more confused than when you started watching this video. But hopefully this is what I mean. I didn't want to say it's a review video because I feel like I haven't explained things at all. It's just been like, this is great and that's great, and I'm like, I don't know, but yeah. But hopefully I gave you some answers, and you know, you enjoyed at least watching this video. And yeah, if you're even a tiny bit interested in this game, then honestly buy it, because especially if you're into the games I'm into, like things like otome games, any sort of life sim game like Story of Seasons for the dating aspect, and then add that with like a little bit of dungeon crawlers. So it's kind of funny because I'm not that into turn-based combat. Things like Pokemon, don't get me wrong, I love the Pokemon franchise. I love Pokemon, they're cute. But I'm not gonna lie to you, when it comes to the games themselves, that turn-based thing is so repetitive that I really struggle staying focused and playing it until the end. But with Persona, because of the life sim element, and especially in Persona 5, they've added like things like you can sneak past enemies, or there's like puzzle elements, and there's a bit more to it. I really enjoyed the gameplay as well. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, I want to talk more about it, but I don't want this video to be a ridiculous length. So I think I'm just going to end this here. If you'd like to, if you'd like to suffer through another video like this, with complete cluster, craziness, on Persona 4 Golden as well, then do let me know. And also, question of the day, if you've played Persona 5R, who is your favorite character and why? And if you have not played Persona 5R and you are going to, which after this video I'm sure you will, okay, I'm joking, but if you were to buy it, then what aspect would you be most looking forward to? But anyway, that ends my question, and as is always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!